the tough questions, the harder answers tonight on True or False. Good evening. I hope you're doing well. Got a nice hot coffee. It's cold tonight. It's damp. But it is winter. Going down to 15 tonight. Don't know what we're going to do. Evening, Tony. Here are you? Evening, bully. Here you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. I think Bully's here. I can sense him. I can smell the shawarma. Just chuck her down, Alan. Just chuck her around. Hello, Tony, my old friend. Going to see his mate, who always lends.
Wrong phone.
That guy sitting in a big fat van. Smells like shawarma stains all over the can. And there goes Tony with the Molotov cocktail through the window. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ew, I think I knocked the machine. I do apologize. True or false? Let's try one. The fat man in the can is the best looking man in the world. True or false? False, correct. The fat man in the van is the most obese. Well, it's not an RV. The fat man in the van is the most morbidly obese in a cargo van. True or false? You're on a roll tonight, Tony. What is the only foods that the fat man in the can cannot eat because it's poisonous?
That's not a true or false question.
Is it, I hadn't finished, is it meat and fat, or is it vegetables? What will kill him if he tries to eat them? I don't know how it came up in my feed. There's some person called Joni something, and it's another man with a set of lipsticks.
Hey, Tommy.
And, lo and behold, the morbidly obese cargo van owner was there, telling this, oh my gosh, definitely not a woman. But anyway, telling this person how to run the show, and he demands respect, and I have certain needs Hello, Charming. You know, I must have. You don't need to watch any videos if you've watched them in the past. They're the same today. But you know the speeches that he gave in the past, and I'm sure he gives them today about, I demand respect. I have certain requirements. Blah, blah, blah. What you're hearing is his father. You know what I mean? He's hearing and repeating what was he was told to do all his life. I demand respect, son. I have certain requirements. Well, I've come to the conclusion, instead of writing a thesis of probably over 400, I said theses, not feces, a thesis over 400,000 words, put it in a book and get it published, explaining all the ins and outs of the bottom of YouTube, I've just come up with one sentence. And that is, it's just fucked up people watching fucked up people. I know it's going to be a big seller. It's short and it's to the point, very concise.
Well, then we're all a bit like that because we've all watched it.
I think his gene pool is just as expansive as his vocabulary, Charmin, which I think works around about 250 words. There's a scale, you know, you've got, and I'm not being rude here, but there is a scale. There is idiot, imbecile, fool. He's even way off the scale there because it's just like playing an old 8-track tape. It's the same music over and over. Yes, Charming, there is. And there's nothing wrong with being a little bit fucked up, if you know what I mean, as we all are or have been in our lives. But it's the deep entrenched, up to the neck, flapping at the ear type fucked up, which is, you know, not good. I would bet any money I have that he would not be on the streets in Australia. We have mechanisms in Australia which would certainly get the authorities' attention. He would be taken in for evaluation. He probably would be committed. And would he have a choice? No, because he's a danger to himself and others. He is a predator of weak and vulnerable people, which is a crime in Australia, by the way. And he just wouldn't survive here. The average Aussie bloke would just drag him out of the car and slap him like a little girl. Because it's just unbelievable. I don't know how Americans put up with it. Yeah, I think you would certainly sort that one out, Charming, without much trouble. Maybe flicking just with your finger and thumb like a mouse off a shelf. But he has, let's weigh up the consequences of his existence, because he doesn't live. He simply exists. His functioning abilities are, he goes to bed about 4:30 to 5 in the morning. Why? I can give you the analysis and see what you think. Because he's scared. He has such low self-esteem, and he's worried about a tap on the window saying, "What are you doing here, mate?" From the police or someone that owns the property. So he stays awake most of the night, and then he sleeps in public areas during the day, which you're less likely, obviously, to get a tap on the window. He always wants and demands people give him a thumbs up. I've watched this for years, so I don't need to watch anything new. It's the same. I know you're going to say, yeah, that's it. He's far from being an alpha male. He's not even close. He is scared of fucking squirrels. No, and he's scared of dogs. He'll go through neighbourhoods he doesn't even know and say, that's a bad neighbourhood. This is the worst, this is a terrible neighbourhood. He doesn't even know. And then we talk about things like his self-image that he portrays. Best looking man in the world. No, I don't think there's even a category of world best looking morbid obese person, because he wouldn't even get into that. He is unhealthy. He is unhygienic. He has always just spent his life abusing and attacking people from a distance because he doesn't like a bit of a stoush. I don't think he'd like fighting anyone. He might break a fingernail. He doesn't offer anything. Let's weigh at the consequences of people and the country you live in. He doesn't and has not voted forever, I think. He has and does not pay tax. He doesn't have any empathy for anyone else. It's all a very selfish, narcissistic existence. Again, I highlight, he doesn't live. Living is something we do, and we choose to do things that give it pleasure. He spends his whole night talking about other people. He always has. He complains about other people. They're not as good as him. And here's the other one. He's the king of the RV community. He doesn't even want to change a tyre, let alone do anything mechanical on a vehicle. He doesn't interact with other RV communities at all. And he doesn't even have an RV. It's a coach, and he craps in a bag. So, I mean, imagine if you put the truth, hello, Adams, how are you? If you put the truth on, say, all right, Zia, we're going to put you on Tinder or one of them love links so you can find the person of your life. But we've got to be truthful. Okay, let's go. Okay, you're short. All right, well, some people like short people. And you're extraordinarily overweight. Actually, you're morbidly obese. Well, put that in. It's a lot of people like chunky. What else? Receding hairline. Well, you know, they do say that bald people have the best sex lives, apparently. And what else have you got going for it? That's right, you don't want to work. Or there are probably some old ladies that would just like to have a pet around the house. You never know. And you just eat constantly. And you would like to have high-speed internet, if it's possible. And you, like I say, you want someone to, on occasions, if they can, if that way inclined, change your nappy. And also, if you could possibly just, keep slipping him money every now and then. Right, we'll put that up on Tinder and see what response we get.
Yeah, we belong on Tinder.
I think he belongs on Cinder, as in light her up. Like I say, the saddest part of this, he doesn't live. You know, if someone said to me, well, I all I do is I sleep all day and I move around car parks at night time. Yeah, that's what I do. That's my living. What else do you do? Jerk off in the back of the van, throw shit everywhere, literally. And I just drive around to different car parks. And would you recommend that for other people to take up that lifestyle? Oh, it's a great lifestyle. You get to see a lot of white lines, shopping trolleys, skip bins every now and then, rats, cats. Oh, I'm scared of cats though. Cats scare me. Well, squirrels scare me more. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great lifestyle. You should join the movement.
And breed fleas and bed bugs.
It's if it wasn't so sad, it'd be extraordinarily funny. He can't and will not ever listen to anyone. But I would wager that his vehicle, even though it's old and it rattles down the road, I think that will outlast him. Because I'm pretty sure the visceral fat is built up to a certain stage now, that the liver's going, oh, jeez, and the kidneys are going, oh, what? Oh. I think the internal organs are under extreme pressure. And you probably, he used to always say, oh, my back hurts. Or got a pain in my stomach. Really? Do you know the one thing that would kill him? You know Superman didn't like kryptonite? Well, I reckon if you just walked up to the van and tapped on the window and waved a lettuce in his face, that'd do him. He'd be gone.
For a bar of soap.
A bar of soap would probably do the same thing. So there is no answer, and the answer is he is already at rock bottom. He's been at rock bottom forever. I don't see you know, when people can sometimes turn their life around at least a little bit, maybe change a behaviour just a little bit, it makes a big impact on the other people around them. So there can be a chance to grow, if you like. But when you're in this deep delusional hole that you let no one in and basically don't change your habits, still unhygienic, extraordinarily obese, like I say, morbid obesity, and eating habits of basically, I don't know, one of them farm pigs. They just keep throwing stuff in the trough.
No, pigs are quite well.
Actually, they do, don't they? They eat lots of veggies
More
and
like
stuff.
a gutter rat.
But he, like I say, the saddest part, he doesn't know this, but all he is doing at the moment is existing. No, even I would even suggest, Charming, that say a very kind minister could see him and think, oh, poor man, I'll help him. I'll try and get him some accommodation and some work. There'd be a story coming from him in a week saying, oh, the old guy was trying to control my life and didn't like the people in the room next to me and the food was crap. You know what I mean? It's not as if anyone could help him, because they would try for sure. They would put forward offers of maybe a bit of work and, you know, some education in regards to etiquette, but it wouldn't last. So I'm afraid all he's going to do until he falls off the perch, like I say, I believe the vehicle he drives, which is terrible, will outlast him. His health conditions are extraordinarily bad. And I know someone told me once, have you seen this big fat guy who lives in a van and just abuses people? I said, was his name Travels? And they go, yeah. They said he's about a 60-year-old old Greek guy living in a cargo van. And I thought, well, how many times have you seen him? Oh, just the once. I said, but you've summed him up pretty well. He looks 60. He looks a bit Greek. He's absolutely, for America, he offers nothing. He's a lot of what is wrong with America, sadly. Doesn't vote, doesn't go to a proper toilet, craps in a bag, begs, obscenities, attacking people. It's all like the worst thing in anyone's character you could imagine. And yet, the delusion runs strong that he is a king. He is the most beautiful man in the world. He is just delusional. Oh, yeah. We put him in the lockdown. That'll go well. But you know, it was the same a couple of years ago, and it was the same 4 years ago when I first saw him. He always teams up with weird people. It's like because he's weird, he feels comfortable amongst the disjointed of society. That's what he does. He doesn't meet anyone normal, like someone who's got a farm and he does a few weeks' work on there, and he never says anything, oh, you know, it was great. There's no, oh, it was great about anything. Food, oh, it was all right. Bit pricey, not big enough. How many times I've heard in the past, the meal was okay, but it wasn't big enough. Now, it was the size of a large dustbin lid, but it wasn't big enough. He doesn't even recognise that he's morbid obese. He does look 60. I'm 60. I look 60. Yes. But the future does not bode well for him, I'm afraid. He is one of the classical, he is his own worst enemy.
And people like him will last longer than you think. It always happens.
He could have done, Adams. I don't know. Like I say, you hear those speeches in the past, and I'm sure they're the same today, about how he demands respect and he has certain requirements. That is a repetition of what his father used to say to him. It's very obvious. A, you don't demand respect. We all know you earn it, or you lose it. B, whether you have certain requirements or not, you have to earn them. You know, you can't go into a flash suit shop and say, I'd like a $5,000 suit for free, thank you. Well, that may be a requirement, sir, but you've got no money. You can get out of my shop. But I'm the king. So the delusion runs deep. Sadly, it doesn't change. His cycle of a very limited vocabulary based on the fact that he just repeats himself, always used to repeat himself within half an hour of subjects. Could be a person, it could be something he's attacking, but he'd do it 10 times. And he doesn't even know that he's said it before. He's saying it fresh each time he says it. But we all know, and we all saw in the past, and I'm sure it's no different today, it's just repetition. Now, he says his mother suffers, I think it's Alzheimer's, I'm not sure. I think it's something, that or dementia. I don't think he's too far behind. Has a lot of classic, so I used to have a lot of classic signs where he'd sit and his head would shake backwards and forwards. And it's like, yeah, that's not good. But you couldn't tell him if you said, there, the bottom line is all you're doing is existing. You're not looking at your future. You're not looking at your past. You're living in this present delusion, which takes you nowhere. So he is rock bottom. There's no lower to go. Yes, you've got the organ grinders throw peanuts occasionally at him. Here, have 99 cents. Have $1.99. And all it does is inflame his delusion. In fact, they do more harm than good. If someone came on and gave him $1 million, yeah, that would change his life. He'd just get fatter and spend it within a week. However, by just giving pennies and making him dance like a little monkey, well, not little, I'll have to rephrase, a fucking enormous monkey, a simian you've never seen before. So when it boils down to it, the people who constantly give him $20 and $30 and $40 every now and then, they're maintaining his existence, period. The money is never for improvement. There's not, if someone said to me, oh no, over the years, all this money people have given have lifted him up and changed his life. No, they've just made him dance. Dance, little monkey, dance. That's the truth. There's no hiding from the truth. It's visual for everyone. Oh look, Charmin's got a spare simian. Hello, simian. I think it's a gorilla. My eyes are old.
Yeah, it's a gorilla.
Is it? Right.
But I said he's a gorilla. Actually, that's insulting gorillas, to be honest.
I don't, like I say, I really don't wish harm on him. I don't. But he's self-harming all the time. His health for the last couple of years was terrible. I'm sure it's just got worse. And we all know the biggest killer in the Western world is not smoking. Used to be. It's not heart attacks. Used to be at one stage. It's morbid obesity, which throws everything out the window. All your organs go, oh, I can't handle this. And your heart fails. Your circulation stops. Your diabetes kicks in. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, if someone said, how much weight do you think you should lose? I'd say easily 100 pounds. Easily.
More than that.
And people go, oh, but, you know, he only weighs 190. No, he don't. Hello, high country. It's getting cold here, mate. It's down to 15 degrees. Yeah, I know. Gets a bit colder where you are. We've had a fair bit of on and off rain, which is good. We normally don't get much rain here, but we've had a good steady drop for the last couple of months. You're about to get your cold month coming up, like we are in August, when the winds kick back in here. Oof. But as soon as August is gone, she's shorts and t-shirt time. Three, that's a bit sharp. Three's not bad if there's no wind. Front veranda is nearly finished. We actually had the tin arrive for the roof today, along with the guttering and downpipes. So probably by the end of the week, it could be completed. And then we've got to pave and build a front fence. Yeah, we get Antarctic fronts in Western Australia. It comes up and it hits us usually 6 or 7 times a year, well over 110 kilometres, 125k winds. We lost a fence this year through one of them. Thank you, Charmy. Not much of a garden yet. But yeah, we lost our fence. All the neighbourhood lost fences. Some people lose a bit of roof. But we get them, they're constant. They normally start in June, go through to August. And it's a blast. It's like no wind, then you get a bit of a sprinkling of rain, like the head of the main front, and then you might get storms in amongst that, and then it's still quite warm because it's pulling tropical air down, but then the cold air behind it, bitter. Well, when I say cold, 4 or 5 degrees. And it's like, it just blasts. It goes from no wind to 100k. And the thing is gusty. That's why a lot of fences go down. Yeah, we go, most of the year it's just beautiful here. I mean, even now, night time here, we could have a barbecue. It wouldn't be that cold. You have a hurricane there. What's the hurricane called? I know in America last year they started a list of names that they would use and unfold out. Where in the old days they would just name it on the day. Do you know what I mean? So you probably even know what it was called before it was formed now in the US.
Well, same here. Goes by the letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, but you don't know till it forms what they call it. Could be anything.
But we think we're...
Oh, you have hurricane season.
I think we're...
Well, if you're in... Sorry?
We're up to the letter P, female name,
Are we?
when we do get a cyclone.
But we had an extraordinarily hot summer last year, and I've only been alive 60 years, but it was the hottest I've seen. We're having a very mild winter, and what I've seen in Europe and the US, you're having quite a lot of heat. It sounds like your summer will be long and hot, but I don't know. It's a statement. We can handle the heat. In Europe, they cannot. In the US, they're used to a bit of heat. But in Europe, it gets above, seriously, over 80 degrees. People start falling off the perch. You just become accustomed to your climate, that's for sure. But if it was another 5 degrees hotter, instead of 105 and it was 110, yeah, it'd be hot. But we'd be going, oh yeah, okay. But 5 degrees in Europe is a massive difference. Plus you get a lot of humidity. It's the same in the US. Parts of the US might only be 80, but the humidity's 80 as well. So it feels a lot higher on the index. So I'd hope you don't have a lot of heat like we had, but the mid-east coast, yep, sounds like a good spot to be. We build differently in Australia. We have, on my coast, we have up to 7 or 8, you call them hurricanes, we call them cyclones, a year. And we've got to build houses to at least 200 to 250 mile an hour in structure. So the structure won't blow away. The roof might go, but you won't get hurt. Well, hopefully not hurt. But in some countries, they just don't build as strong. Yeah, but if you're smart, you can get away from harm's way during a cyclone or a hurricane. You just do it. There's a famous story about the Berrima Aboriginal community in Darwin, and I was there just after Cyclone Tracy hit in 1974 because my sister lived there. I was on my way out. I couldn't get in. But the Aborigines were asked, how come you guys moved out of town a couple of days before? Is it something spiritual, or was it something in your community, like, you know, you had dream time? And they said, no, we listened to the news. I thought it was funny. We just watched the news. Big storm coming. Let's get out of here. Is Aussie shooter out of jail yet? I didn't even know he was in jail.
Oh. I haven't seen him for a while, so.
All right, Tony. Spick and span.
Okay, Tony, ears. Don't forget ears. Dry. Wash and dry.
No, I haven't seen Aussie shooty for a while.
A long time.
Yeah. He did time. I know he did time before. I didn't know he'd gone back in again, though. YouTube jail. I'm not sure what that means. Is there a jail on YouTube? If there was, it'd be really full. We had a bad damage from hurricane once here. Hurricane Isabel. I remember Isabel. Lived here for 20 years. There's some big storms I remember in the US. You have been in Facebook jail. Okay. I don't do Facebook. Can you imagine the world with no internet? You'd be talking to people.
It would just be like it was 50 years ago.
You've been in the US during one of those big storm seasons. No, I've been in my state with big storms. Western Australia cops a lot. It is, but it didn't used to be. And I don't know, there's more of a sense of self than community in the modern era, because people get what they need on the internet. So they don't invite people over for a barbecue, or they don't go anywhere. It's like the weekend is just on computer devices. But that's where the world's gone. See, hi, when and if you get really old, and by some lucky chance I'm still alive, I'll make sure I get you a trout fishing computer game, you know, so you can do the memories. That's right. Remember the days when you got your pay slip in a yellow envelope, there's a little slither of all the bits and pieces that came out of it, the tax and all that? We use cash still here, ourselves. Not a lot of people do, but you can use your card. Fishing games are on Facebook. I've never been into gaming, really. All our sons like playing computer games. Daughters don't, though, do they?
Oh, they play other things like I do, yeah. We all have the power to not use the internet. We all have the power to turn everything off.
That's
Just
true.
because it's there doesn't mean you have to use it.
Yep. No, it wouldn't be the same high. Just the smell of the damp soil, the moss on the edge of the rocks, the little ripple in the water, bird flying over. You can't get that on a game. Sun just coming up. The smell of pork sausages being cooked in a fry pan. Yeah, can't get a game that does that either. Yeah, like I say, you're one of the few people that I've met on YouTube that actually lives your life. You go out there and you do stuff that gives you pleasure and enjoyment and, in the end, satisfaction. Because you do the real thing. Get all the gear in the car, a few snacks, make sure you got all the flies ready to rock and roll, check the other gear, make sure you got fuel, tyre pressure. This is all real stuff. Then you drive, could be half an hour to an hour, whatever you're going. And you get there and you unpack, and the anticipation of throwing that line in the water. All those things you can't buy because you've got to do them. Taking some bacon up. Oh yeah, sausages. It's going to be good, mate. Something about an open campfire. Coffee brewing or sizzling. Adams, have you seen High Country's channel? Just curious, if you haven't, you want to see some good fishing, you should go to his channel, have a sticky beat. I think the affiliation I've got with Highs, I understand, like you don't have to be with anyone, but you're near water, catching fish, looking around at nature. You don't have to be in a crowd. Yep. It's one of those mornings, when you get up and you drink your coffee and you breathe out and there's still steam coming off your coffee and there's steam coming out of your mouth. Wouldn't be dead for quids. Yeah, I'm not big on crowds. Not a recluse, but you know, if I'm going to be hanging around 100 people, particularly in these modern times, but no, normally even, it's like...
No, you don't like crowds at all, let's face it.
Well, I'll go to a big footy match with 50,000 people.
Yeah, but seating's in a position that's not too crowded for you.
You suffer claustrophobia.
I suffer claustrophobia, but I don't mind crowds. I'm a people watcher.
Right. I remember sleeping down a river one night. I had for about a week, had 2 big hookups. This is in a river, so this would have been a big kingfish. And I was so tired. I put the rod just on the inside of my sleeping bag next to the fire, drifted off. Woke up with me being dragged towards the edge of the water. And then, because I'm half asleep, put too much tension on it. Gone. I thought, you bastard. Nothing wrong with country life. Particularly at the moment, that's for sure. I had 40-pound line on to it, deliberately changed. I thought, I'm going to get tired here. But it was big, whatever it was. And I was sort of parallel with the water, and then in the end I was nearly head in the water. I wasn't letting go though. By the time I got out the sleeping bag, I'd put too much tension on and ding. Yes. I reckon the big bugger come to the edge of the water and thought, he's asleep now, this will stuff him up. I think it's inherent in all of us to be with people, but I don't think it's in our nature to be with millions of people. You know, as a species, we really didn't do that until last century. And now it's even more so. Lots of people in the country just come to the cities. All around the world it happens. You know, country life is dissipating. Country towns die. But country towns are pretty good. If you've got a good lifestyle and you're living well and having, you know, what you need and what you want, why would you want to go into the hustle bustle of a city where it takes you an hour to drive about, you know, 2 miles? Then you got to find parking. Then you got to pay. Here in Australia, parking's horrendous. You go to an airport here, it's $20 for half an hour. I kid you not. And then $20 for every hour afterwards. Yeah, this, like I say, a lot of people love being in the city. I'm not one of them. Less than 15,000, yeah, it's still a good sized town, but it's small enough. Yeah, it takes you 5 minutes to drive out of it, that's right. I go to the city, but I need to be doing something. Like we're gonna, as soon as the museum opens up, we didn't get to go to it when we got back because they're refurbishing, and during the pandemic it's been closed. But it's imminently going to open, and we'll go there. That's in the middle of the city, but I'm going in there for a purpose. There's a sense of relief as you start leaving the city, isn't there? Start seeing trees and cows, in my case kangaroos. Yeah, now's not too far to drive. Yeah, I think a lot of people do the reverse chiming and high, where they've been born in the city, and then if they go to the country, they feel awkward. Like, I like open spaces and being somewhere where there's no one else. That's fine. But they get a bit nervous, I think. Here he is, spick and span Abbott. Good morning, VMAC. I'm not sure what I ate, but it was something chocolate. The wife bought two of these.
It was a hazelnut slice, and it was like a chocolate
Like a mousse. Yeah, well, it was nice. Yeah, I could live in the country. I spend a week looking, seeing what I can eat, what I can catch. I build myself a nice little hut out of something. I think he may just be in the background, VMAC, a bit nervous about entering. Of course, he's under no duress. He comes back and behaves. There is no problem. And if he was lurking, he's probably less likely to come in the room now that you're here, VMAC. Oh shit, I'm not going in there now. I made yesterday, and we had it for dinner tonight, I made lamb and vegetable soup. Now, this is how big it was. 2 large leeks went into it as well. Turnips, parsnips, celery, potatoes, carrots, onion, garlic, you name it, went in there. And it was bloody beautiful. Now, a lot of people don't eat lamb. High Country does. But this was absolutely, it was a shoulder of boneless lamb, and I just cut about half a kilo into small, thin slivers, seared them, and then put them in with the veggies. Yeah, it's just a flavour. It's not as if I'd have a whole bowl of turnips, but mixed in with other veggies adds a nice little flavour mix. Yep, 6 weeks they're locked down. The whole state is locked down. You tell some Americans what our reaction is. We had I think there's been 600 cases in a week in Melbourne in an outbreak. So what does Australia do? Well, you're locked down. If you're caught outside the area, you get an $11,000 fine, or you could go to jail. I'm not kidding you. They're the impositions if you try to break and you can't go to work, you stay home. Oh, we like eating, Charmin. We love eating. I'm about 4,500 kilometres away from Melbourne.
Yeah, where
And where we live in Western Australia, there isn't any virus.
all our borders are still closed.
If you can listen, everyone's playing sport, you can hear in the background. Everything's back to normal here. But everyone still observes social distancing. There's dots everywhere you go. You've got to stand on them, do your spacing. It's good, mate. Cooking's good. It's like fishing. You get good at it after a while. And our daughter is not too far away from dropping a little fella. I reckon within a week. What do you think?
Yeah.
She's huge. With the, I think it's a habit. We took it very seriously. And it's a habit. All the shops still got the dots on the ground. Everyone sort of veers away from each other. And it's not a bad thing.
And they've left all the shields up at the cash register.
All the shields are up. You go into any shop, you've got a Perspex shield between you and whoever. Yeah, looking forward to it. That'll be number 10. That's a lot of birthdays.
Yes. Birthday calendar.
I've seen a few of Greg's kitchen. He's funny. Seeds. If I use wild garlic in my yellow rice, will the roots soften up enough? Nah, I always cut the roots off wild garlic. You can eat them, but they're quite tough. Yeah, you could do that. You could certainly do that. You could throw the roots in, but maybe just tie them with a lackey band or a bit of string, VMAC.
Sounds nice, VMAC.
It certainly adds a bit of, I like textures and flavours, and I like layers of flavours, and I think the wild garlic, you could put the whole lot in. Maybe you could just curl them up and put them in a band and throw them in. You probably don't even need to put the garlic in itself, just the essence of it being in there. Yeah, they do, but you know what I mean? You know how stringy the wild garlic at the bottom is. Unless you get really young ones, about 4 or 5 inches high, then the roots are usually okay. But the bigger ones, they tend to be a little bit harsh. But geez, it grows everywhere. If you get wild garlic in your garden, you've got it for life. Beautiful flowers when they come up. You can eat them as well. My broccoli, I think I'm about 4 or 5 days away from cutting the broccoli heads off and then blanching them and freezing them. But what I do when I cut the heads off the broccoli is I put a cross in the stalk. And for about 2 to 3 weeks after, because the plant's still strong, it will send out little broccolets.
Well,
Yeah.
they're not that big right now.
Oh, something like that. About 5 inches now, some of them.
Yeah.
They fill in very quickly at the end. But they're all nice and tight. I like just steamed broccoli. Actually, my favourite combination with broccoli is carrots. Yep, we have heaps of onions and garlic all the time. How do you know when the carrots are ready? You mean in the ground or in the pot? Charming.
In the ground, I think.
Well, people panic sometimes. They'll have, oh, I've got all these carrots growing up against each other. Don't worry about it. You just thin them out. The easiest way to do it, it's the same with beetroot or turnip or parsnip, is to get your forefinger and thumb and you just run it down into the soil, moving a little bit as you go, and you just feel for about the first inch. That'll tell you. And then you're not really damaging it, even though carrots send off roots all the way through. But just run your finger and thumb down, have a feel. But usually the big giveaway is carrots start to lift out of good soil because they're growing so fast. But you can, the old rule for me, to feed, we eat a lot of carrots too, don't we, really? Probably, say you're going through 12 or 14 carrots a week, which is about a kilo. Well, the old rule for me is 12 feet long, you grow carrots, and after 6 weeks, you then replant seeds alongside them, 12 feet long. And again, after that, 6 weeks, same and same. Succession planting. And a lot of the times carrots try and catch up, so you might, your second and third crop might grow a bit quicker. But then you'll always have carrots. But you don't always have to eat all the carrots. You can clean them, blanch them, and freeze them. Yes, we've got silver beet we eat.
Okay, see you, Mac.
Spinach is probably the best one. Bok choy is the same. Great iron, potassium in these.
Mac's got to go to work.
All right, VMAC, have a good day. But yeah, spinach, bok choy grows real fast. All sorts, kale, Bloomingdale spinach, all sorts. I mean, it's great source for the year. But to give you an idea, if you got a bucket, a normal 2-gallon bucket of spinach leaves, and then you blanch them, you'll end up with a cup full of spinach because they shrink. But it goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way. Like if you're making a stew, I'll only pull out about a 2-inch by 2-inch block of spinach, throw it in the stew, and it just fills up the whole stew with spinach. I love watching Jesse James Homestead on YouTube. Sounds good. I like a lot of homesteaders that, you know, bottle and can and pickle and preserve, grow their own veggies, and kill their own chickens. A lot of people go, oh, you shouldn't kill chickens. Yeah, but you eat chicken. Yeah, but I don't have to look them in the eye. Okay. It's like a true sense of satisfaction when you grow and produce your food. Silver beets is just as good, but you can, like with the leaves of the broccoli, you can treat that like silver beet as well. You just cut the hard stem out in the middle. I've always said, and this is just my opinion, that people that can grow food well, and that includes chickens and pigs and everything, also cook well, because there's a symbiotic relationship between growing and cooking, I believe. People have said to me, no, that's not true. I'm saying, okay, well, this is what I believe. If you've got a good process of growing food, you generally have a good process of cooking it. I like little potatoes, but you need a fairly big area to do that. Broccoli, now I've got, I think you've seen the garden videos I've done. I've got broccoli bursting out of a little veggie box, but I think I've got, what have I got in there?
8.
No, there's about 16, I think.
Huh?
There's 16 in there.
I thought you planted like 8 plants.
Yeah, but in each row. And I did them on an angle, so they had a bit of space to spread, but they grow really big. But you can eat the leaves. So I cleaned out, must have been 10 days ago, I took off all the bottom leaves, about 2 or 3 off each plant, and that opened up so a lot more light got in there, because it was actually covering all my other plants. There was so much of it. But my daughter-in-law took them all home and cooked them up, all the leaves. Just as good as spinach. It's lots of leaves you can eat. People just should throw away. Don't eat carrot tops though, whatever you do. Don't eat rhubarb leaves. Don't do that. That's not good. But we'll have spring onions shortly, and I'm thinking about thinning your red onions out, but if you don't thin onions out, they work it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You end up with the odd shape onion and squishy bits and bigger bits and smaller bits, but that's fine. But the spring onions will be ready in about another 10 days. But I'll be prepping my gardens after this in about 6 weeks for chilies, tomatoes, cucumbers, pumpkins, watermelons. Yep. It's coming up to the time of the year I love best. Spring into summer and harvest. I like making my own chili sauces. And you don't need a lot of plants. You just need healthy plants. Look, I wouldn't grow any more than 7 or 8 tomato bushes because the amount we get off them is enormous. But cucumbers, you're better off growing them in succession as well. Like if you've got one patch of cucumber, I'd say probably 4 or 5 weeks after you've planted them, plant again, because they flush quite a lot all in one short period of about 3 to 4 weeks, and all the cukes are finished. But if they're finished and you've got another flush coming along, you'll have a good 3 to 4 months supply, or you can just keep going. And we did find last week, we did a little garden for someone at the front last spring and summer, and we planted one cherry tomato in the corner. Well, the wife pointed out to me a couple of days ago, come have a look at this. This is the middle of winter here. This thing gets no sunlight, and yet the bush is producing flowers. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it was alive, but it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graft a couple of stems off that, because that's obviously a very versatile bush. And I'll have one area where I grow cherry tomatoes off graftings, which is how I graft it. I put a branch into the ground, cover it with soil, put half a brick over it, and just let it stay there for about 3 weeks. And then all the roots start forming from where you put it under the ground. Cut it off, there's your tomato plant. We're very fortunate here, and you all know we feed birds. Birds pay us back. There's no bugs in the garden, because when they come for a nibble, they also have a look. So it's a payoff. We like watching the birds as well, but they actually do go in the garden and flick the bits there and that. We haven't had any pests at all this year, have we?
We've only had this whole winter 2 snails, or whenever it's rained.
Where did you see snails?
One behind the bin up there.
Okay.
And one down there, down on the back. Where, that's because we've got so much paving.
Yeah, they don't like the paving. So, and as a little garden is all raised as well, so they're probably a bit confused.
I don't know if they can crawl
But
up
no
that wood.
flying insects, no bugs, no caterpillars,
I
nothing.
don't think they can crawl up that wood.
But I do like growing tomatoes, and I do like growing chilies, I must admit. Yeah, birds are just great. I mean, you just sit and watch. All the birds that come here are very regular. There's 2 families of magpies, at least. There's 4 or 5 butcher birds. There's all different types of birds. And now the parrots are starting to come, which is good. But it's like, you get to know each one because they've got each individual. One of the birds come, he's messy. He'll flick biscuits everywhere. Another one just comes, is very petite. Another one, like an old magpie, looks like an old man walking. So you get to know all their characters. And I forgot to tell you this morning when I was sitting out early, huge flock of black cockies.
Yeah.
Yeah, big sky full of them, which means they're normally the sign of change of season. Same there, Adams, yeah. I like, nature is wonderful. Like I say, just going down by a river, and if you do nothing but sit and look, you get to see a lot. A lot of people say, oh, that's boring. For us, it's not. The wife will take a camera, take a few pickies, we'll have coffee, just watch the world go by. The simple things in life. Get the black cockatoo every other day. Yeah, we get. It's the end of summer. All these black cockies go into the desert when it's winter, but they live near the coast during summer. And last year we must have seen, and I'm not kidding, thousands of them flying across our house. It was just unbelievable. Just the sky was going black with them. And they go bush in the cooler months. There's different plants that they eat out there. And then they come back in the summer. So in summertime we get a lot more parrots. Pink and greys, green ones, budgies, all sorts of things. Western rosellas, they're really beautiful. Yep, we got quite a few wild ducks on the Swan. Actually, we'll do, when things get back to normal on the river cruises here, we will, I don't know if we could do a live on board the boat. Do you reckon we would? Probably.
Why couldn't you?
I don't know whether we'd get the signal further inland.
14.
Yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll go on a wine cruise and stop at a few vineyards and show you some of the beautiful areas along our river.
Just as long as you're not feeding the ducks bread high, buy proper duck food.
What, fish?
Now, they say you should have the bread wet, but you really shouldn't give them bread at all, because it really swells up in their stomach and it's just not good for them.
Many years ago, wife and I went on a boat cruise, and we took our own little snacks, cheese, salamis, fruit, and people thought it was like what was being offered on board, but it was ours. But they had all these little stacks of little plastic wine glasses, the small ones? They were stacked up, weren't they, really high?
There's about 100 of them.
And what did I do?
Yeah, you knocked
I
them
bumped
over.
into them. Spent the next 20 minutes putting them all back. Hello, Buttercup. Whoa. Yeah, but that's a good cruise up the Swan. You can go way inland, and they got pubs along the river, a lot of vineyards, cafes and restaurants. Suppose we could do another live at the zoo.
Yeah, when it up? Oh yeah, that's open now, isn't it?
I think it's open, yeah. Zoo's always a good day out.
I actually wanted to pay for the year.
Do what?
Pay for the year for the zoo. That reminds me, we've got to do tax.
What do you mean we? I got to do the tax.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Oh, it's a beaut zoo too. We've done a video on the zoo. Is it on your channel? I think it is.
Yours.
Is it on mine?
Actually, I don't think you ever have.
Yeah, no,
When
we
was
have.
the last time you went to the zoo?
Oh, it was 3 or 4 years ago with William.
Longer than that.
Well, it's a bit weird not being able to get the seats.
Since about 2000.
Very robust seat. But a very fast-growing crop, which will give you similar flavours but more versatile. There's things like pak choy or bok choy. They're really fast-growing. Great in stir fries too. Actually, I like pak choy just cut up into its individual leaves, put in pan with a little bit of oyster sauce, garlic, onion. Yum. All the heirloom seeds are out of stock. Well, I just got a message from one of my suppliers who is now back in business, and he only sells organic.
He's not fully back though.
Oh, I got about 80% of his stock, which is pretty good, since he actually had to close down. pak choi, just grow them from seed. Pak choi is prolific. I just think it's different pie. It's a bit like a mixture of silver beet and cabbage, pak choi and bok choy. But it's great, like I say, great in stir fry. I chop it up and throw it in stews or quiche. I made quiche with bok choy a couple of weeks ago. That was yum. But you should only eat food that you like. If you try a vegetable and think, no, I don't like it, well, don't grow it. And most people, between 7 and 10 is the range of vegetables people eat. You could all do a little exercise now and think how many veggies or types of vegetables you eat. It normally comes down to 7 or 10 on average. I'd eat probably 20 or 30 different types because I love veggies. VMAC would eat 100 types, but some people, basically it's just 7 to 10. You could name them: carrots, onions, peas, potatoes, you know what I mean, garlic. It'd be a limited range, but that's okay. They're the foods you like. Oh yeah, come up real beaut. I made another one a couple of days later because we liked it so much. Even some of the foods I do cook, they're just really cheap. It's not expensive. Yep, there you go. Carrots, potatoes and broccoli. For me, like I said earlier, carrots and broccoli work beautifully together. They just work. Yep, we always use tons of garlic. In the old days when I was a kid, it was really cabbage. In the UK when I was a boy, it was cabbage, cauliflower, all the root vegetables, leeks, onions, not really spring onions. You know the bulby onions? They were the ones. There's a spring onion of type. I think it's called a manuka, which is a Japanese type.
Sounds like the honey.
Yeah, but it's said differently. I didn't say it properly, I don't think. But I know we had probably about 20 types of vegetable when I was a kid, mainly because we had a lot of veggies. There wasn't a lot of meat going around. I tell you, I was never really keen on cauliflower, though I had lots of it when I was a kid. But an old lady showed me how she made her cauliflower cheese, and it's bloody brilliant. Very simple, but tender, not firm. When I was a kid, you'd eat a lot of cauliflower that was like not quite cooked. So I like mine to be tender. Broccoli I can have semi-tender, but cauli, yeah, particularly in a nice cauliflower cheese. Really high, love steamed and fried cabbage. We like cabbage with onions and garlic and a bit of bacon sometimes in it, like with Brussels sprouts, break them up. Throw them with a bit of onion, garlic and bacon, and Bob's the uncle. Yeah, it does. It's utilising the cauliflower. It's like avocado. For me, it's like, but you mix it with other stuff, it's okay. But we do have a panache for having steamed or boiled carrots with honey. Well, it's like piccalilli. A lot of people who eat piccalilli will realise there's lots of cauliflower in there. It's pickled though, it's different. In fact, I do know with my sons. When they were younger, they'd always eat the pickles that I'd made. And I said, you know, that's cauliflower, and that's this, and that's that. And they go, yeah, but it tastes good. But you give them a fresh cucumber or some cauliflower, and they go, oh, I'm not eating that. But pickled, yeah. We've almost finished the off-grid camper series. Well, just because you got a chest, Tony, I'll put a medal on it. You know you go blind eventually.
Oh God, Tony. What did he say? He's not finished. Oh, the camper series. He's got heaps yet to go, Tony. He gets even weirder.
They've been playing sport all night over there. It's been raining. Doesn't stop them. You tend to watch a lot of people that are incompetent, Tony. Is there a thesis you're doing for a master's degree or something you're not telling us about?
I'll send you a sympathy card, Tony.
You'll have to entertain the trips. I need to go do a wee.
Just let it do that.
Yeah, it's all back to normal here. This coming weekend, there'll be 30,000 people at Optus Stadium here watching footy. Yeah, no, they've been back playing sport for the last 4 or 5 weeks now.
But more than usual. Used to be 3 times a week. Now it's nearly every night.
Yeah, which is good. Do you want to put the camera on you?
Just let it there.
Oh, just leave it there. All right. I'll be back, gentlemen and ladies.
You might see his legs, Buddy, but they're covered.
It's cold.
Oh, no, you didn't get to see them. Optus Stadium from you. I don't know, 15 minutes by car high. Oh, it's a beautiful stadium. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes per car, I think, yeah. By train, it's actually, if you can't, it's, what is it? Just under a kilometre, depending which way you go if you go by train. So it's a good walk, but it's not good getting a train at night from where we are. So we maybe get the train in and then Uber home. Or, yeah, actually when the games are on, you can't actually park anywhere near the stadium. So you've got a fair walk regardless of if you go by train or car. And they purposely do that so it doesn't get so overcrowded with cars and stuff. Yeah, 15-minute drive. Maybe not even that, actually. That's depending what's happening there is whether you can drive anywhere near it. Like I said, they've made it so you. I have to wait when Seth gets back. I'll ask him, but I think it's at least you have to park it about a kilometre away, or if you Uber in, you've got, or maybe just under a kilometre walk, which is okay. Oh yeah. But the thing is, when you go to a stadium to watch the game, which we enjoy doing, it's not the same as watching it on TV. It sounds strange. Because you've got the commentary on TV, you get that little bit more excitement. So what I noticed last time I went, what people did, they actually, I don't know, did something through their phone and had one ear thing in. Because the commentary does sometimes make the game, doesn't it, when you watch it?
It's like being at a game. You got the atmosphere.
when you watch it on TV, though, I'm talking about the commentary.
The fake commentary they're doing at the moment. You mean the
No,
fake noises?
I mean, if it real, don't not.
Oh yeah. If you're at a footy game, there's no commentary.
No,
But if you're watching on telly, you get all
yeah.
the ups and downs and.
and because I was asking about how far it is. It's about 15-minute drive, but
For the big
Osborne
stadium. Yeah, it's about that.
But you can't actually park anywhere there. You've
No.
got to go.
No, we're not walking like we did last time again, though.
But it's you haven't got much choice. It's about a kilometre walk no matter what you do because you can't park around there.
Really nice mandarins.
Oh, they're strong. I can smell them.
Still got to get through the rest of the strawberries yet. We love fruit.
So life would, if he was going to watch a game, would be cricket like New Zealand versus Australia.
Yeah, you'd like it, mate. It's very well done. It's built a bit like the Colosseum. You can see great vantage point from anywhere. It's like most things, like if you've been to a big sporting event, the crowd itself is part of the game.
Yeah, it is. Hers is bigger. His butty.
But what's that, mandarin?
Yeah.
Do you see the big mandarins in the fruit and veg shop today?
Yeah.
They're the size of a small soccer ball.
Butty's is bigger than yours.
Small things come in small packages.
Well, yeah. Isn't it good things come in small packages? Isn't that what you're
Yes,
saying?
the 2020 Olympics are going to happen in Japan in 2021, but they're going to call them the 2020 Olympics. Well, we'll see what happens, of course.
Is there pips in them?
No,
No, because...
just try one.
No, I'm not really a mandarin person.
I'm the same height. When I used to go fishing,
See,
a couple of
Tony?
mandarins in a glove box. Good night, Tony.
See, that's the brand of mandarin you bought is what I buy in the apples because they're actually what they call kids' lunchbox fruit. That's
Okay,
why
that's
there's
what I
no
thought.
pips in it.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And that's all that's left.
Don't be up all night watching TR, Tony.
Yeah, I think the Melbourne flare-up of the virus high will put back trans-Tasman travel just for a little while. Though we do know Jacinta has contacted the WA Premier in my state and says, you guys can come. Truly, they'll accept West Australians.
Yeah, so I have to say...
Oh, I love cold, seedless white grapes.
Oh, yeah, got to be seedless grapes.
Oh, I love them.
Butter, you grow grapes, don't you?
Actually, we'll grow them down the back corner. I'll stick a pot in and trellis it up. When Buttercup gets here, she can lie on the day bed while you feed her fresh white grapes and wine.
What do you mean? I'll be on the daybed next to her.
Oh, right, so I'll be doing all the
Feed-
bloody work.
Yeah, I ain't feeding the grapes.
That'd be right. Still, I'm only a robot. Who cares? Well, she knows the NT in West Australia and most of South Australia just don't have any virus.
So is that what you grow, Butty, is the red ones?
But it doesn't matter what time of the year, I've got to have my grapes cold.
Oh, no, see, I don't.
You don't like them cold,
no,
do you?
I'm not.
I love 'em
There's
cold.
not many fruits I like cold. They've all got to be room temperature for me. Maybe on a hot day, the watermelon cold is alright, or a rock melon.
Oh, I love rock melon and honeydew, watermelon. Import capital of Australia. Unfortunately, most of the virus that came to our country came from visitors on boats and planes. Hello, chick.
Oh, you grow the white ones. See, I prefer
No, we
well
get
green,
seedless.
green, white, whatever you want to call them, but they've got to be seedless.
Yeah, like a sultana grape.
I find the red
Quite sweet.
one's skin is a little bit thicker. Whereabouts is that?
Yeah, they
Right.
sell a lot of New Zealand wines bought in Australia, but we do produce a lot ourselves. We can get wine at ridiculous prices. You go to a cellar, even though if you bought the label in a shop for like $10, you can buy them for $3 from the vineyard.
Well,
So a dozen will cost you about under 40.
it's just they take so long to grow. You can't really change yours, can you, Buddy?
We'll check it out when we get there, hi. We're going to take a time, at least 3 weeks if we go to New Zealand, just taking it easy,
That little
finding all the good
brown
pie
one.
shops.
So they red or red or green chick.
We get a nice red variety right in the heat. They ripen and they're really sweet, the little red ones that we get.
Well, I don't like.
But they're only on for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, you get red.
I'll be buying, even for our fruit trees, I'll be buying some netting. I only use it during fruiting season.
Oh, the blue. Yeah, I know what you mean, chick. Seen those.
But we grow a lot of grapes in Australia. Would have been the standard Australian backyard would have had a grape bush, eh? But I'm definitely having a nice big feed of lamb when I get to New Zealand. Our lamb's good, don't get me wrong, but theirs is better. Nice feed of lamb. They got some great pies. They make good pies over there.
You get lots of squirrels, do you, Buddy?
Yeah, it's the marbling and the fat. I've no doubt that's what it is. Get some bird netting. Oh, I've already had it, hi. Been in New Zealand before. We had dinner one night and I said, I'll have that again. But you've had a main meal. I want another one. Give me some more chops. It's a cool climate, without a doubt. There's only got 2 parts of Australia where you've got up through northern Victoria and the Highlands in New South Wales. The lamb's very similar to New Zealand lamb. Green pastures, cold weather. Yeah, but I mean, if you go to a vineyard, well, we've got heaps of vineyards here, you just ask for the old netting. And all I would do is during fruiting season cover the trees.
Yeah.
It's only for 6 to 10 weeks, and then you take it off. Yeah, you can be really harsh with grapevines.
Yeah.
They don't mind a good hacking. And on occasions, if they're clearing an area in an old vineyard, they'll sell vine stock that's 50 and 60 years old. They're the ones you want to get.
Yeah, it's fair enough sharing with the animals and some bugs. You've got to accept that when you grow stuff. Yeah, see, I don't like cherries. Well,
We're just not really cold enough for cherries where we are.
no, we can't grow them here, but
No, we can, but they struggle.
no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, we'll certainly let you know when we're there, mate. No problem at all. We'll catch up. See, Australians and New Zealanders are pretty similar. We're all fairly laid back. We won't take any crap, but we're fairly laid back.
Young, the cherry capital of Australia.
But we bought a few extra pots, and what I'll do in the first year, I'm going to grow watermelons and let them trail over the pot, rock melons or cantaloupes as Americans call them, honeydew, all sorts of sort of things like that. And then what we do when you finish, you just clean up all the rubbish and put it in the compost pile. They'll actually grow well down that back wall.
What?
Melons and rock melons, because they'll have midday sun and afternoon sun. They won't get real heated up. And when the big melons start growing, just put a little bit of hay or cardboard underneath them.
So how are you going to grow them? In a pot or what?
Grow them in the pot, let them trail over. I've done it before. They'll go berserk. Because the pot's quite big, I can probably plant 6 melons in each one. Yeah, no, you've generally, when you've pissed an Aussie off or a New Zealander off, he'll be down your throat, but it takes a lot to get us there. But I'm sure, I've got some beautiful parts of Australia. We've got alpine ranges and all that. But New Zealand reminds me a lot of Ireland and Scotland. It's similar in scenery. Not a kilt to be found, though. But yeah, no, if you've wanted to visit a similar place to Ireland and Scotland, you'd go to New Zealand.
Yeah, just the architecture's different, but the landscape is, yeah, I know what you mean.
And even though a lot of people think New Zealand's really small, it's not that small. I think it stretches quite a long way from top to bottom. There's a broken bit in the middle called the ocean, but still New Zealand. And the west coast is beautiful.
Thursday,
heard
going
or-
there in winter.
Eh?
I'm not going there in winter.
No, we won't go in winter. Oh, you'd love Ireland. Oh, you really would. We spent at least a couple of weeks there. And the Irish are so friendly. Bloody cold, but they're friendly. Oh, Buttercup's going to New Zealand to go fishing.
Fishing.
Don't tell her about the 1 hour walk uphill. Don't tell her about that high. Just say it's just up the road. It's just over the next hill. And Buttercup after half an hour, so are we there yet? Hi, are we there yet? I can take you deep sea diving if you like, Buttercup.
No, buddy, you're not
Zoom,
doing
zoom.
that. You're not going deep sea diving.
Zoom, zoom. Zoom, 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 zoom. I think we're going to need a bigger Buttercup. Fishing's good for the soul. I love the old saying, a bad day's fishing beats a hard day's work any day. No diving. Wimp.
No, wouldn't either. There's too many bites when you dive.
It's one of those weird things. You could even, I'm sure he's gone up to the high country and the weather's turned, as it does in New Zealand, out of nowhere. And he's got there and he's saying, oh, I'm still just going to sit in the car and watch it for a while. So he wouldn't just turn around and go home. He'd be thinking, it might be a break in the weather. Maybe not. We'll have another coffee. So it's the journey as well as the experience. Yeah. I think we experienced 3 seasons. Where did we go? We went to Glenorchy, just out of Queenstown. There's a pub down at Glenorchy. I think it's about 20 minutes out of Queenstown, or about that. And we went to a pub there, had a good feed, didn't we? But it was sunshine like you wouldn't believe. We'd just gone for a ride on the steamboat. Beautiful. Cold, but beautiful. Got to this pub. Beer was good. Food was good. Rained. And the fog came in. All within about an hour. Well, I'm afraid, Buttercup, when you get here, I'm going to have to turn the hose on so you can hear the sound of rain. Because there ain't much rain. We've had a big rain burst this last 6 weeks, but that's unusual for us. I think last weekend in one day we got an inch. We get 7 inches a year, so we had an inch on one day. Yeah, no, you can't beat that. Just listen.
Thunderstorms better.
Nah, the rain's great. I love the rain. It's just something special. Bit of a rumble's good to go with it, but
Oh, you and your wind button.
is that the wind that you do when you lift the doona up, or is the wind from outside? Which one was it?
The outside one. She goes walking in 200-kilometre winds. The wind blows through my face.
My hometown, Geraldton. Just outside, there's a place called Greenough Flats, which is just open, flat country. And the trees grow sideways. They really do. They go up about 3 feet, and then they go sideways. Because it's so windy.
They got rid of a lot, didn't they? Unless they fell over, because when we went, we weren't able to get good video of those trees.
Oh, there's a few big clusters still there, but it used to be, the whole paddock used to be full of trees. But they cleared it for planting hay.
That's what I'm saying. They've taken a lot away.
Mm. There's an old historical pioneer village just before you get to my hometown.
That wasn't opened when
Haunted,
we
of
went through.
course. Tonight on Most Haunted. Buttercup goes through the 1850s.
That wasn't opened when we went through, so that's why we didn't do any video on it.
Mm.
I do want to do the Fremantle tour again, but hopefully we get a better crowd.
Well, we only went about 14 months ago.
It was way before we went to
It was
Sydney.
after winter.
It was before we went to Sydney.
Mm-hmm. That'd be something to take Buttercup through. I've been there through many times because I used to go there for training. Our plan for tomorrow, I've got a guy coming to look at one of our blinds. I've got a bit of painting to do.
Not tomorrow, remember, it's coming.
Oh, no, he's coming Saturday now.
Yeah, so you can sleep in.
Oh, I can sleep until about 6 tomorrow.
Actually, it's funny, you know, when you're expecting someone, most times, no, like this morning, we actually slept in. We both didn't get up.
Oh, I
till
got up.
10 to 8.
Got up for about 10 minutes and I come back. But yeah, I knew I didn't have to get up for anything. But I normally get up at 5:30, 6. Yeah, you can't beat that wattle, gum, bush, rain smell. We're going grocery shopping with my partner day off work. I don't enjoy grocery shopping. I don't mind it actually. I like looking. I'll tell you what we got today. And I know some of you appreciate it. These are called Barilla. Spaghetti penne Barilla. And they're normally like $5 or $6 for a box. They're about a kilo, aren't they? They're huge.
Yeah.
And they were 50 cents. So I picked up 4 of those. The wife spotted them actually.
The bigger ones and then the smaller
Then the
ones.
smaller penne for, say, 50 cents. Tins of crushed cherry tomatoes, which sounds good, Australian made. They were 50 cents. So I've got a whole, so I'm telling the kids on the weekend it's Italian on the weekend.
Well, enjoy the shopping, Hi. Do a video, Hi. Show us the shopping centre, the grocery store.
Yeah, pasta's good for about 300 years. There's not really a use-by date on pasta when it's dried. But we'll do a big feed on the weekend if the kids want to come round.
No, there's
So we'll have a
actually-
bowl this big.
I don't have to see.
Well, during winter, that's probably a better option than a barbie.
Yeah.
Let's make up some garlic bread. Have some of your vino.
There's 300
Pasta
years.
will last forever.
He's already 500 years old, Butty, so...
No, pasta will last for a very long time.
No, we're just teasing you.
Wheat has that ability.
So he'll be eating pasta for the next 200 years.
Oh, a couple of big family gatherings and most of that'll go. Coles French onion soup. You know what you can do with that, Adams? You get some chicken pieces and roast them till they're
Yeah.
cooked in the oven. Then what you do is you take them out and then you pour in a fairly decent sized container of apricot nectar. And then you get that 45-cent French onion Coles soup and you sprinkle across the top. Put it back in the oven on about 170 for about 30 minutes. You get sticky, gooey, yummy apricot chicken coated in French onion.
Well, just stick your camera on your head like you do when you're out fishing and video the grocery shopping.
I can just see it now. Oh, look, there's a couple of carrots. I'll just get them. No, I only weigh about a kilo. I'll put them back.
If you could
There
incorporate
you go.
your
There you go, you little bugger. Go on, get back to your carrot herd. You'll be right.
overlay as you're casting your line, overlay it as when you're in the shopping shopping centre.
That means you're comfortable with your own company, Buttercup. It's the me world, Buttercup. Me. That means
Yeah.
you'll never go back to that one high.
Talking about him filming.
Flavours fascinate me. I will always look at just up in the ante sometimes on even similar meals. I think I'll just add a bit of that, see how that goes. Just a bit more of that, and sort of in the end you end up with a fairly regulated way of making things. But I don't mind mixing it up, if you know what I mean. So we'll have to polish the rest of them strawberries off tomorrow.
Yes. They're still okay, but I can just smell them.
No, they're good.
Yeah.
We could get some cream. Strawberries and cream.
Yeah, I think the cream and the
Get
sour.
Buttercup, put a tennis skirt on. We'll sit down and watch and eat strawberries with cream.
Oh, cool.
Chocolate in a glove box, going fishing, always a go-to. Where's that Kit Kat? There it is.
Oh, I tried some of those Arnott's ones.
What ones?
Hang on, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. We didn't really like the Wagon Wheel one, Arnott's chocolate Wagon Wheel, and the Arnott's chocolate ice Volvo flavour. We weren't keen on those two.
Probably just different flavour, I suppose, to what we're used to.
I'll have to try the others.
Yep, I think it's spaghetti come Sunday. Actually, I don't mind just the Coles Scotch finger biscuits. I think they're about 90, 95 cents. Tastes exactly like the other ones.
Yeah, the Wagon Wheel was no good. Yeah, Kit Kat, you're right. Tastes, but I've got to say, the Kit Kat. Where were we? Well, bought Kit Kat and it did taste a bit different. Must have been our Europe trip.
In the UK, we had a Kit Kat. They had the chunky one. You said it was different.
Yeah.
I like the old snap finger Kit Kat 4-pack.
But Wagon Wheel's changed. The Wagon Wheel itself, is, the flavour's changed. It's
Even the size, it used to be much bigger years ago. It was more jammy years ago.
I don't know, the sweet of it is not the same.
I like Coles Fletcher here. The staff are so friendly. I don't know where Fletcher is. Must have meant Queensland. We had a famous explorer called Fletcher. Yeah, well, I mean, palm sugar is provided by Indonesia, mostly around the world, and they just rip up all their forests to do it. Near Minmi. Oh, Minmi. Ah, New South Wales.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I know where you are now. Imagine if we spent the night telling people about Australian town names. Adam, they'd be like, what? What's that? How do you say that? We're probably the only country in the world that has a town called Orange.
I betcha Perth is all over the world.
Yeah, Perth's an old name. Same as Richmond, that's an old name.
And Boundary Road.
Railway Parade.
You always come across those roads wherever we go.
Orange is in New South Wales,
Alright,
inland
see
a
you,
bit.
Butty.
Bloody cold there this time of year. All right, Buttercup. Have a good day, my lady.
Where is Orange? New South Wales.
Yep. Near Bathurst. Well, not near, but on the same road. Bloody cold.
Dubbo. Past Dubbo.
No, Dubbo's up north. Further up. Been to all them places. Nice old country pub in Dubbo. Built probably in about 1880. I remember staying there. It was $20 to sleep there with a room. You had a shared shower room, but in the morning you got a free breakfast, which was bacon, eggs, sausage, mushrooms, baked beans, toast, as much coffee as you like. $20, including a bedroom. You probably don't get a better feed. It'd be the same in New Zealand for sure. Get out in the country, into the pubs. They give you an enormous meal for a good price. The beer's cold.
Oh,
Yeah.
Griffith, that's it.
Griffith. That's famous for something, isn't it? We all know what Griffith is famous for.
Yes.
Yeah. We had a couple I say went to Glenorchy and that was pretty good. Real old country bar, like a round bar, wasn't it? Went all the way around. It's funny, Australians and New Zealanders, you stick a beer, like in the UK, I would actually order stubbies because coming out of the arm pulling attachment they have, it's always warm. So it's smart. Get a bottle or a can of beer. It's always cold. If you give New Zealand or Australian a warm beer in Australia, you'd be fired.
I see your brother was a former police at Griffith Adams, eh?
Well, he'd definitely know what we're talking about then. Griffith's theme music. Da, 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 da.
High Country, do you have either of our emails? Because I'm just thinking, when we do come to New Zealand, apart from talking on here, do I have your email or not?
Oh, it's always cold on tap here too. But not in the UK. Germans like their beer cold. English? Nah, not so much. As you know, the hardest thing for me to find in the UK, which you'd be amazed by, is a pie. It's like it's died out over the years. Not in Australia, certainly not in New Zealand, but in England, the land of pies, hard to find. It's like, I'm sure it's the same in New Zealand. It doesn't matter which garage you stop to fuel up in Australia. There's a rack of pies. Hundreds of them. In every service station. But that doesn't happen in the US. There's one shop we pull in every now and then to get fuel, and I'm not kidding you, there'd be 300 pies and pasties and sausage roll on display. All different flavours.
Where's that at?
That place that we pull in for gas.
Oh, that's called the Pie Hole.
The Pie Hole. It's a service station.
Homemade, yeah.
Homemade pies. Pricey, but nice.
Yeah, they're nice though. Which is unusual for a servo.
I like making pies, actually. I like big, chunky beef gravy pies. Yep.
Yeah, this is called Pie in the Hole, and they are and sausage rolls. They are really nice.
When I was driving trucks in about the late 70s, you'd always pull in and get a pie, cheese sausage and a choc milk or iced coffee. Well, in the late 70s, what became predominant and caused a lot of injuries was the microwave. Because you'd then pull into a servo you'd always pulled into and say, "I'll have a pie, love." You say, "Just be a second," and you hear this bing. And I say, "What's that?" "Your pie's ready." "What do you mean my pie's ready?" So you'd be holding it in your hand, driving on the right-hand steering wheel, left hand with the pie, as normal, chopped milk between the legs. But a microwave pie collapses.
And it burns you.
And on the inside of your thigh, if you're lucky, that's where it lands. You're scarred for life. Microwave pies are a danger to driving. Don't do it. They only lasted about 10 years and everyone said, "I'm not buying any more food from your place if you're going to microwave the bloody shit."
Where was that at?
Up and down the roadhouses.
Oh, it
Went for
depends.
about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then the truckie said, "We're not stopping here. We should have a proper pie rack with pies in the bloody thing. Or fuel up elsewhere." So they're all, "Oh, okay, we get rid of the microwaves." They were terrible. You microwave a pie, it's like a jelly.
I don't mind a sausage roll microwave if I have to, but not a pie.
Nah, it's sacrilege. Actually, we got good pies at the Badging Garage, didn't we, when we come back? They were good. Homemade, she makes them.
I had the sausage roll.
The old lady came and said, "I make all these myself." So they're bloody beautiful.
I'm going to bed. So just chuck us an email when you think of it, hi.
Has he got your email address?
Yeah, I put it in the room.
Okay. All right, good people. We hope you have a great day. Pi's going to bed.
No,
Just
going
like-
shopping.
What now? 1 o'clock.
Oh, no, tomorrow.
Sorry, it'd be 2:30 in the morning, whatever, not Gary. But we shall toodle off, and there's the boss.
Sleep well. Don't forget the chocolate tomorrow, Hi. Don't forget the chocolate.
Apparently it's an essential. Have a good night or day, wherever you are. Be safe, be smart, be careful.